16 years ago, mass protests in Nepal forced the then King Gyanendra Shah to give up his throne. The people of Nepal called for a republic country. And now there is a new wave of demonstrations, but this one is trying to bring the king back. You heard that right. Just have a look at what's unfolding on the streets of Kathmandu. Protesters are marching with flags and banners in their hands. They are chanting praises of the king. These people basically want Gyanendra Shah to return, and they also want to bring back Hinduism as a state religion. But why is this happening? What's going on? Let's just have a look at what's the mood on the ground.
Our country will retain its value and identity only if it is turned back to a monarchy and the king is reinstated back to the throne.
For the continuation of Nepal and Nepali people, we need a monarchy. Without a king, we have no identity as Nepalis, and all of us might as well just declare ourselves as refugees.
Now, this is unprecedented. Back in the days, Nepalis fought for political modernity. There were weeks of violent protests. In 2006, the king gave in and stepped down. The contempt for the king had reached a point that his motorcade was stoned as he drove to a pilgrimage site. He was isolated and rarely appeared in the public eye. He was stripped of most of his powers, including the control of the army. He was confined to his last remaining palace. An interim government withdrew half of the soldiers guarding his sprawling palace. Around 10 other palaces were taken over by the government. His annual $3.1 million state allowance was cut off. His queen lost her beauticians. His image on some banknotes was replaced by Mount Everest. The government even removed the national anthem's lyrics about him. The Royal in Nepal Airlines was deleted. In 2008, a specially elected assembly overwhelmingly voted to topple the monarchy. One thing was clear: after almost 240 years, there was no room for a king in Nepal anymore. So what changed between then and now? Let's listen in to an expert opinion.
There was a frustration on the part of the people. That's why some people started to think that, well, it was far better under monarchy rather than the present circumstances, the present setup. That's why once it was thought unbelievable, incredible that people will start supporting revival of monarchy. But it now seems to be gaining ground.
You see, people are frustrated. Ever since the monarchy has been abolished, Nepal has had 13 governments, 13 in 16 years. Some Nepalese, in fact, say democracy has failed to bring about political stability. They mostly blame it on the country's struggling economy and widespread corruption. The Royalist movement in Nepal is growing. There were protests in November as well. Tens of thousands rallied in support of the king in the capital, Kathmandu. Riot police officers had to use batons and tear gas to halt them from marching to the capital center. The most powerful group supporting restoration of the monarchy is the Rashtriya Prajatantra Party. It was founded in the 1990s by the allies of the monarchy, and currently it has only 14 seats in the parliament. But it wields an outsized influence as a representative of the protest movement. In February, the party leaders met with the Prime Minister and presented their demands. They wanted the monarchy to be reinstated and Nepal turned back into a Hindu nation. Many other groups supporting the king have also sprung up. However, the main political parties reject the possibility of the king's return. And what does the king have to say? Nothing so far. Gyanendra Shah has not commented on the movement. He maintains his distance from politics. And as you may already know, the story of this king is a tragic one. He ascended to the throne in 2001 after a palace massacre. According to the investigation, then Crown Prince Dipendra killed his family members one by one and then himself in the end. And then King Birendra was also killed. So the crown was passed down to Gyanendra. Until a decade before this, Nepal's monarchy did not allow the formation of political parties. But a pro-democracy movement had brought in elections. Monarchy was reduced to a ceremonial role. It was Gyanendra who changed this. He sacked the elected government and took over absolute powers in 2005. You know what happened next? It did not sit right with the people of Nepal, and monarchy was done away with entirely. There has been a lot of back and forth. Now the royalist sentiment is once again on the rise. Will it bring back the unpopular king is the question. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.